Yeah, he's still the best player in the world, and it's not close. And everybody knows it. And people tried ever since LeBron's injury to create a narrative where it wasn't the case. And he had the schedule gods did him a favor this weekend. Post All-Star game, games really matter. Both teams, all three teams really, Lakers, Bucks, Clippers, essentially at full strength. All right, let's go see what you can do. And what LeBron did was, in the first game, said, Giannis, I'm going to take you out of the game after you scored 10 points in the first 4 minutes. You're going to have no impact while I dominate on both ends of the court. And 40 hours later, against Kawhi Leonard, he says, I'm going to do the same thing. I'll guard you as much as you guard me, and you're not big enough, you're not strong enough, and you are not versatile enough in order to do for your team what I can do for mine. Because while LeBron and Kawhi this weekend scored almost the exact same amount of points, there was one category that was 9-0, assists. Because LeBron, if you build a team to stop him the way the Clippers have, he will find the open man. And if you're the Clippers and you have built a team around Kawhi Leonard's strengths, well, that means scoring and defense, no playmaking. And so what you saw was LeBron reminding everyone that the gap between him and the next best player in basketball is as large as it's ever been, which in year 17, Stephen, we've never seen something like that. Third most minutes ever, 35 years old, still the most reliable player in the league.
It's definitely large right now because KD's not in the league.
Sure. Okay, fine.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
I'll give you that. But he's definitely the best player in the world in my mind, too. I had the Lakers winning the championship this year. I think the biggest thing about this game was he kind of figured out that he has to post up more. Him and Kawhi, they're definitely going to match up in points, and we know LeBron's a better playmaker, a better passer and all that. But I think, for the most part, the Clippers didn't do a good job of shrinking the floor like they did the first two games. The first two games, they made LeBron pass the ball. They shrink the floor, and they did a great job. They let him drive last night. They let him get to the basket, and like Doc Rivers said, you let LeBron walk to the basket, in any game you're going to lose. Kawhi didn't have a good game last night. He didn't have a great defensive game. I think LeBron just took it to him. The first two games, he felt like they punked him. The first two games, and that's basically what the Clippers did. And he heard all the chatter that he's soft. He heard all the chatter that Kawhi has his number and all that. He came out tonight. Even though this game didn't matter to him,
right,
he came out last night to win that game.
But do you think he went into this weekend, Friday night with Giannis, yesterday with Kawhi, maybe with a little bit more edge, wanting to show the league, the fans, all of it, kind of backing up the whole washed king thing we've been hearing about all season long?
Well,
was there a part of him that consciously knew this is what he wanted to do?
I don't think so. I think his motivation has a lot to do with Kobe. His motivation has a lot to do with him and what he wants to do for his team. I don't really think he's worried about Giannis or Kawhi or anybody else. LeBron knows what his goal is to win the championship, and he knows the role he has to play on his team. Anybody that come in that arena, I think his job and his focus is going to be the same regardless of who the player is.
You don't think it was an MVP narrative in his mind?
Nah, but how many years that he was supposed to win MVP that he didn't get it? So I don't think he's thinking about it. I think he's going out there and play a game. Yeah, I don't think he's thinking about it. Not at all. The only person that speak about it more is AD. AD talk about it more than LeBron do.
Well, Nick talks about it a lot.
Nick don't count. Nick and Shannon Sharp don't count.
I mean, I also have said all year long that Giannis is the MVP of the league, to be fair. But it's close, though, now.
I think it's more than close.
You think LeBron's taken over the lead?
Yes.
I think he is the closest he's been all year. And what he had, I said on Thursday and Friday that there's a quarter of the season left, and if you treated the season like a game, we were heading into the fourth quarter, and Giannis had the equivalent of a 13-point lead. Can we show what LeBron did against Giannis and Kawhi this weekend and what they did against him? Because to me, this is a 9-0 run. When you outscore him, out-rebound him, way out-assist him, play better defense, your team wins both games. That is how you turn the MVP discussion, which was Giannis ahead by quite a bit, to now it's a real discussion. And here's where I think you're both right, Jenna and Stack, to a degree. I think he understands the reason these games are so important is because you are going to have to go through at least Milwaukee and maybe Milwaukee and the Clippers to win the title, and they were two of the only teams in the league you hadn't beaten all year.
Right.
The other two were I think Toronto and Indiana, they only played once. So like the teams that matter, the only teams you haven't beaten all year. And so in that regard, it's about a championship. But the way the Lakers win the championship is in those series, he's the best player. and that they go into those series with the collective confidence of a team saying, we've beaten these guys, we know how to beat these guys. If they had lost both games this weekend, even though they'd still be first in the West by a mile, and you say, oh, okay, so they're 0-5 against the two teams most people think are their biggest competition, I think while it might not shake LeBron's confidence, I think some of his teammates shakes their confidence a little bit about if they have to face either or both of these teams in a playoff series.
You don't want to go into the playoffs against the team that you didn't beat all in the regular season. 08, we beat Dallas the whole regular season. We was the 8 seed, they was the 1 seed. We beat them in the first round. It's mental. It's definitely mental. So you want to have some success against those teams, and definitely the Clippers. I don't think Milwaukee's going to be a problem. I don't even think Milwaukee's going to get out the East.
Ooh,
you know, I think people's really going to start to hone in on Greek Freak's game. He has a lot of holes in this game, and they exploited them in the playoffs last year, and I think they'll do it again this year.
All right, well, the Lakers and Clippers do play one more time this season, April 9th, I believe it is, the makeup
Third
Kobe
night of
game.
a back-to-back-to-back for the Lakers. I wonder if everyone plays.
You're in a good mood, though, today.
It should be.
It's a
great
weekend. Great weekend.
I feel it.
LeBron closed the gap immensely. I don't think he's ahead of him yet. I don't think LeBron is yet the MVP favorite, but what had to happen this weekend and what has had to happen post-All-Star break has happened. Like at the All-Star break, Giannis was running away with it in my mind. The Bucks were on pace for 70 wins. Giannis on pace to set the all-time PER record. He's scoring as many points as he is averaging minutes per game. It's unbelievable stuff. Since then, the Lakers have lost once. LeBron hit a game winner against Boston. He outplayed Giannis, and when he guarded Giannis, Giannis was 2 for 8 from the field, and that was a game where Giannis's overall stat line is misleading because he scored 10 points instantly and then was 7 of 17 the rest of the way and really struggled. And then LeBron himself went 37, 8, and 8. And then LeBron followed it up with Kawhi, who reportedly, according to my pal Stephen A. Smith, months ago was saying to people around the league, why won't LeBron guard me? Tell him, why is he afraid to guard me? Well, LeBron guarded him. LeBron held Kawhi to an inefficient 27 points. I say inefficient even though it was 50% from the field because he created 0 other points with 0 assists. And LeBron did it on both ends of the court in both games. So if he was going to make this a race, the things that have to happen, the Lakers have to keep winning. The Bucks have to lose. They've lost now 3 of 4. Giannis has to take a step back. Unfortunately, injury is a part of that. Giannis now going to miss a little bit of time. And LeBron has to continue to put up crazy numbers. Post-All-Star break, Kevin, 30, 8, and 10, 57% from the field.
30, 8, and 10.
Yep, that's his averages. And maybe most importantly, 78% from the free throw line. And all of a sudden, getting to the free throw line a ton.
78%.
Where it's 15 and 14 free throw attempts in the 2 games this weekend where he wasn't afraid to go to the basket. So I don't think he's ahead yet, but I think it's the closest it's been all year.
So I've got a story. That's why I wrote down the numbers. Stack and I were doing the jump 3 years ago, and one of our main storyline was Russ was going to be the first person to average a triple-double since Oscar Robertson. And I was on the phone with the league trying to get an interview, like a sit-down between Russ and Oscar Robertson, and we could never get it done. And I thought it would be amazing. It would be this historic thing. Russ wins MVP, first person to ever average a triple-double. Then the next year, Russ averages a triple-double, and Harden wins it. Then last year, Russ averages a triple-double, and Giannis wins it. But the narrative that year was Russ's. This was Russ's year. The number didn't really matter. So for all of these numbers, Giannis has them. But I think the narrative is LeBron's. I think LeBron has captured the narrative and captured, like, mind share of MVP, and that's why I think he should win MVP.
Well, I mean, and then, too, to touch on your point, it's kind of like how much better can Greek Freak get? Like, okay, you know he can work on his shooting, but I don't really see him that get too much better. And he's more like of a Shaq.
Well, that's got to get better.
I don't know if it can.
Okay.
So who would you vote for?
I'm voting for LeBron always.
Okay, you would.
I'm voting for LeBron too, but I'm saying that to say, Greek Freak wins. If he wins the MVP, it's more like a Shaq MVP, more of a you just been dominant. I think with LeBron, it's because he's the best back. He does everything great. That's why, and he went to the Lakers, and he has the Lakers from not making the playoffs to the #1 seed in the NBA. So that's why he's MVP, and they win MVP different ways. And I think Russ should have won it 2 years in a row.
I do too.
Because it's people, especially outside in the game, we know how hard it is to average a triple-double in the NBA.
But he lost the narrative.
3 years in a row.
It just became Harden's narrative. Well, Harden just won it.
It's not people that's voting. The people that's voting are not looking at the game. They're looking at what the fans are saying. If they were looking at just play, Russ, AD, and LeBron would be contending for MVP every year, hands down.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.